Overall, 10.1 could be hella exciting, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm on board with the changes. If people are excited about it, I'm excited about it too, man. If it's gonna make more people play the game, that's what's up. Because I'll play any version of WoW, any form of WoW. It does not matter. If people are down, then I'm down too. Pika, what type of skills do I need to learn to break 3K from 2,800? Oof. 3K and 2,800 might be one of the biggest skill gaps in the entire game, especially in this season of World of Warcraft. If you're trying to really climb from 2,800 to 3,000 rating, you need to basically be better at every single aspect of the game than you are right now. It's pretty much child's play up until 2,800. Then, once you get to that 3K level, that is where it becomes virtually impossible to climb up rating. You got to be better at doing damage, be better at not dying, be better at speaking English, be better at queuing the game, be better at making the queue pop, be playing a good class, good comp, good CCs. Just looking to watch the Venvid. Guys, should we watch Venruki's video? I guess Venruki made a video about the new changes coming up and said everyone is overreacting, which means he might have good things to say about it. Should we take a look and see? Perhaps? Shall we? Potentially? Let's take a look then, Ben. Let's see what he has to say.
I made a quick chart of some upcoming CC changes. This chart isn't completely correct. There are abilities missing, and finding the PvP durations online proved to be much more difficult than I would have thought. I just hope that people might feel a little bit better when they see some abilities did not lose noticeable duration, and some will actually be longer. CC is not dead. Go figure, guys! People are overreacting. Feel free to call out my mistakes. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so for Druid, Mighty Bash is now a longer duration.
Okay, so what he's saying is, so next patch, for those that don't know, they're removing CC reduction off of gear, and they're shortening a lot of CCs. But they're also making some CCs actually longer to compensate. So some CCs are going to be a little longer, but majority are going to be shorter. That's the moral of the story. Okay?
Rake Stun is a longer duration. In-cap Roar is a longer duration. Vortex is lower. Mass Root is lower. Hibernate is lower. Cyclone is higher. So a majority of Druid abilities are actually getting an increase in CC duration. Let's look at Demon Hunter. Chaos Nova is going from 1.7 to 2. I think that's wrong. I don't think that's right. Fell Eruption is going from 3.
So already, I mean, this Reddit poster that's made a list, he can't even get his information right. This is why you can't trust anyone on Reddit PvP forums. What the hell is this guy even talking about? I mean, already there's a mistake. This guy's saying a stun is getting longer. So, I mean, how valid is the rest of the list if there's already a mistake this early on? What's up with that? Should I make my own list and start making up numbers too?
3.4 to 3. Imprison is going from 4.25 to 5. So Imprison is actually going to stay at 5 seconds. Unk. In-cap is going from 3.4 to 4. Chi-Ji is going from 4 to 5.
I think people are assuming Orc is going to get nerfed, guys, so we don't think all go Orc.
Is going from 4 to 5. So Monk is gaining a little bit of CC. Hunters, Freezing Trap 6.8 to 6. Steel Trap 6.8 to 6. Scatter Shot 3.4 to 3. Binding Shot 2.55 to 3. Tar Root 3.4 to 4. Pet Stun 4.25. So the big one for Hunter is obviously
3 second Pet Stun?
Steel Trap, and Pet Stun. And Scatter. Hunters are definitely getting
shafted.
Some big trouble.
Yeah.
Mage is actually losing duration on Polymorph. What about Orc? Someone says, what about Orc? I truly and honestly believe that Orc is going to get nerfed or changed.
Did I just say that? Did I not just say that? Is that insane? It's almost like I'm a professional hired by the Golden State Warriors. I can just know they're not going to allow Orc to sit. There's no chance.
If it doesn't?
Don't even say that. Stop right there. Stop right there. Don't even say that. If it doesn't. Those are bad words right there. We don't even want to see that.
I will be the first one. I will be there with the rogues. Okay? I will be there with the rogues outside Blizzard HQ protesting for Orc nerfs.
Yeah. Fuck it. I actually live near Blizzard HQ. I could show up there and have a big sign, and I'll hire a bunch of other fake protesters, and I'll make a bunch of signs photocopied, and we could all sit out there and look like there's thousands of us. Right? How sick would that be?
I honestly believe none of these changes make any sense if Orc stays the same.
Bunch of people who don't even play WoW get them out there protesting.
Stuff. It makes no sense. So the only way these changes are like even feasible to me is if Orc gets deleted or changed in some significant way. But anyways, Poly 6.8 to 6, DB 3.4 to 4, Nova 5.1 to 6. So Nova's actually getting improved. Ring of Frost 6.8 to 6.
Orc is a 10 or 20% stun reduction.
About that. Maybe Roots will actually be better. Roots will be better. DB's better. Ring of Frost and Poly are nerfed. Stormbolt is getting nerfed. Fear is getting improved.
I got a solo pop. All right, guys, look, we're going back to the Ven video of everyone saying we're overreacting. Let's go back to this right here. Let's take a look, guys.
Getting a slight nerf. Repentance getting a nerf. Turn Evil getting a nerf. So Paladins lost some CC. Rogue, Kidney Shot, not really changing. Cheap Shot is actually getting improved. So for Rogue, Cheap Shot is getting better. Garrote Silence is getting better. Gouge is getting better. And then Sap is obviously changing. Blind is the big one. That's going to be the biggest change. But just Blind and Sap, really. Everything else is getting better for Rogue. Kidney Shot, I suppose, is getting a little worse if you're not fighting an Orc.
Oh.
Priest, Chastise, we got 2.5 up to 3. So
okay, so like, look, I'm looking at as Rogue changes here. So the way the game feels right now, I feel like it's... The Sap one's a big deal. That's a big deal. Sap... Almost a full second off Sap, that one matters. But Gouge getting buffed, like that's going to be really annoying for people. So Gouge is going to be even better. Garrote Silence is going to be more annoying, and Cheap Shot. So there's a lot of good here. And Kidney Shot is not changed that much. And they're not changing duel, but Sap, that's a big one. So the Sap one's big, and then the Blind is kind of a big thing too. We don't know if what they're going to do with Blind, if they're going to change it. But... with all these are like all kind of micro CCs, and they're getting buffed. So it's hard to. That's all assuming this is accurate. That is assuming that their math is correct here, which we don't know if it is.
If you're not fighting an Orc. Priest, Chastise.
It might even be low key better. Is that insane?
We got 2.5 up to 3. So Chastise is getting.
So yeah, like with a 5-second blind, you couldn't sap off blind, but what it means is you'd have to blind off of a stun. Like last game, how I blind sapped that druid on his trinket, like we couldn't have done that. I would have had to leap to him and then like cheap shot him into blind, and then I could have sapped it, but I wouldn't have had the vanish. So maybe I could have war stomped him into blind and it would have been enough time, but that would have been sketch anyways. So hard to say.
Improvement. Fear is getting an improvement. Okay. And when I say an improvement, a lot of you guys are like, wait, what? Those spells aren't getting buffed? It's a relative improvement to now. So
someone in the comments pointed out that rogues and RBGs need sap to cap bases. Takes 6 seconds to cap the base. Oh, wait, yeah, that would like destroy rogues and RBGs.
The 15% CC reduction is going away.
Is that good or bad though? I mean, I always thought it was hella annoying sap capping on his rogue anyways. I thought that shit was dumb. But yeah, it's like, how do you ever take a base? Yeah, wait, how do you ever take a base? Yeah, it was cheese, but RBGs are pretty lame anyways. But like, how do you ever cap a base if a rogue can't sap?
Spells that aren't being changed are getting better. That makes sense. Mind Control is getting nerfed. Silence is getting improved. Psychic Horror is...
Wait, Priest is getting a buff on like all their CC. What the fuck? Fear to 6 seconds. Chastise is longer. Silence is longer. Shaman has longer lasso. Shorter hex.
Slight nerf. So for... I think that, like, if you imagine like a Shadow Priest and they do like a Psychic Horror into a Fear into a Silence, I think their CC chain is actually getting slightly better.
Yeah, that's weird.
I think it's actually going to be a longer CC chain for Shadow Priest. All right, Lasso going from 4.25 to 5. Cap Stun going from 2.55 to 3. Root Totem going from 6.8
yeah,
to 6.
I don't know if that's accurate. There's nowhere. They just really buffing a lot of this shit?
Going to be better. And Cap Stun's going to be better, but Root and Hex are getting nerfed. Then we have Warlocks. Seduce is going from 6.8 to 6. Banish is going
Warlock's
from 6.8
getting buffed
to 6.
on like all their shit. Fear is going to be longer? Wait, is Seduce longer than Fear right now? What? Banish. Fear is longer. Infernal Stun's going to be even longer? Coil is longer?
Fear,
Axe Toss nerf. Axe Toss is annoying as fuck.
Fear's actually getting an improvement.
We don't like
Infernal
that.
Stun is getting an improvement. Coil is getting an improvement. Axe
How do we
Toss
know if this is even right,
getting
though?
lowered. And then we have Death Knight. Death Knight Asphyxiate 4.25 to 3.
Nerf that shit.
Strangulate 4.25 to 5. So if you imagine like Asphyxiate into Strangulate, I think it's going to be about similar. A little bit worse, but pretty similar. Pet Stun going to 1 second instead of 0.85. Blinding Sleet.
They got to just get rid of DKs.
And then for Evokers, Sleepwalk is getting buffed, and Landslide is getting buffed as well.
Okay, yeah, this is getting nerfed, right? Like, dude, Sleepwalk is not 3 seconds right now. That shit is long as hell. Are they nerfing Sleepwalk, or is this a mistake? I think you meant to say, I mean, he put nerfed right here, but they're definitely nerfing Sleepwalk, right? Sleepwalk is busted. It's like a full blind. It's crazy long. It's insanely long. It's like 6+ seconds.
As well. So here's the CC duration chart that has been posted on Reddit. I don't know if all of these are exactly right. Like, what was the one? I think Chaos Nova lasts longer than 2 seconds in PvP. Correct me if I'm wrong. So Chaos Nova right now is only a 2-second stun. That's it. It's 1.7 right now. I think it's more than that. I think it's 3. In PvP, it's 3, and Isolated Prey makes it 4, I think. So it goes from 3 to 4 with Isolated Prey. Anyways, yeah. So, yeah, these are the CC changes. I think it's important to actually like look at this because I feel like a lot of people just think like all CC is now going to be meaningless. It's all out the window, but a lot of specs are actually getting improved crowd control chains. So I would say the specs that are hurt the most from this are probably Mage, Hunter, and Rogue. Mage, Hunter, Rogue.
Mage, Hunter, and Rogue
have the most to lose from this, but yeah, this is also just like a first draft. So maybe some of the changes to Rogue get reverted. Maybe some of the changes to Mage get reverted, you know? Something like that. Really disheartening to see streamers like Zara and Pika making half-hour videos to just whine and complain to try to influence us to agree. I can't believe they said it's not worth using CC anymore. How about we try it and see how it goes? Blind Sap shouldn't have to be.
Why the fuck am I getting blasted by Jesse Flava? And then reading what this person says is, I get it's a skilled thing to do, but it makes the person experiencing it have less fun. I can't even read it. Okay. This is a terrible argument. First of all, like I'm all for the changes now at this point if people want to do it and have fun, but this is a delusional argument, okay? And there's been a lot of people in chat that say this, that being crowd control is not fun. Obviously it's not fun. No one wants to sit in crowd control. But that is what PvP is. In PvE, they don't crowd control you. That's why it's PvE. Like, if you're fighting in a player versus player standpoint, and you want to not have any CC in the game at all, you can go PvE. It's the same thing. Right? So, and that's why everyone was like, bro, I don't like PvP because it's not fun getting crowd control. It's like, that doesn't even make sense. That's like what PvP is. Regardless. Like, and then blind sap thing is okay, if people don't want blind sap, that's fine. Blind sap's been the same for a lot of time. Blind usually has been like an auto trinket. Blind sometimes makes the game easier to play because you just know you're going to trinket that only, especially at lower ratings. At higher ratings, it's actually more of an issue because when you fight better teams, they can actually do more to get your trinket before blind, or they can actually punish you for trinketing blind. But versus like lower rated games, it's usually an instant no-brainer. I'm going to trinket on blind. But yeah, so they're changing blind sap, so you have to use blind off the CC. But yeah, the whole CC not having fun thing is a weird statement to make because CC is just a part of PvP. Any game that has PvP, by the way, every single game in the world that has PvP has crowd control. Is there any game that is PvP without crowd control? Like literally everything I've played, every single game I've played has some form of crowd control in an MMO. Guys, an MMO game, okay? Guys, why are we talking about Call of Duty? And they do have crowd control. Yeah, flashbangs and shit. There's literally crowd control in every PvP game because that is what makes it PvP. First of all, is that insane as well? So I don't know where people even started having that argument because it doesn't even make sense. There's literally CC in every single game on the planet. We get that it's not fun to sit in CC, but that's part of it. Right? Because it's fun when you're CCing them. And you know they're thinking the same thing. Like that internal frustration you feel, that's part of the game. That's why when we were saying that people aren't going to use CC at all, it's because already right now, CC is not that important. But there's just a lot of micro CC, which makes it very frustrating for people. Because it is hard to deal with, especially at lower rating. Even at higher rating, it's very hard to deal with. Like when I play healer and I'm above 2400, I'm just like, wow, bro, I can't do anything because it feels like I'm getting hit by a billion different CCs. But they're like small CCs. Small, consistent CCs are irritating. And then long chains are also annoying too, so they gotta find a happy balance in between. But yeah, like, if people don't like blind sap, that makes sense because blind sap has been the same way it has been literally since vanilla WoW, right? So it's like, okay, if they want to get rid of that, that's fine. But yeah, like the one thing that never made sense to me was like the whole getting CC is not fun. When it's like, that's kind of what PvP is. And every single game in the world has PvP. Or has crowd control. Literally every single game. That's, yeah. Has anyone said that, by the way? That every single PvP game in the world has crowd control? Has anyone even made that comment yet? Like, if someone can actually make, like find a game that has no crowd control, I mean, that'd be fucking incredible, because they don't exist. Like, even like Rocket League, you can kill the person, right? You can like destroy their car. That's like another one too. CC in League of Legends, for example, is not very long. What? What? CC in League of Legends is a fucking eternity. They've been trying to nerf CC in League of Legends for like since the inception of the game. If anything, CC has gotten crazy long because of all the new classes they make. It's ridiculous. And you die instantly. And you can't even tell what you're CC'd by in League of Legends. At least in WoW, you can see what you're hit by in CC. But in League, it's like everyone just stacks everything and you literally can't even tell. There's way too much going on. Yeah, okay. Yeah, stuns and roots and everything. Yeah, literally insane. Literally insane. In the short term, or maybe if they can, further iterate on this, that maybe this will be more enjoyable for most people and it could get more people into PvP, and then it'll make solo shuffle queues better. And maybe they want to make the solo shuffle bracket, even better than it is right now, with maybe like more rewards, more incentives, faster queue times, right? Maybe, and then they just make it more playable and kind of more like, okay, this is the direction they really want to go. Then a lot of that stuff could be good. Yeah, that's why that's why me and Czar, and I think a lot of other people were like, whoa, we're just gonna like remove CC from the game. But yeah, and then as we saw in this video, some CCs are getting longer and some are getting shorter, so we'll have to see. Yeah, and it kind of, there's like the whole class balance and everything like that, so we'll see.
Be a thing for you to have fun. I get it's a skilled thing.
Let's see what Ben says about that.
But it makes the person experiencing it have less fun, especially when their entire argument is how casted CC is getting nerfed is bad for the game, and yet more casted CC is buffed in 10-1 than nerfed, except Mage. Ooh. Okay, so in PvP, just for clarification, in PvP, Demon Hunter Chaos Nova is baseline 4, and I think it gets buffed to 5 with Isolated Prey. Something like that. I could be wrong. Yeah, edit because I was wrong and change the fear duration from 6 to 8 and chastise from 3 to 4. Anyways, the point stands, even though maybe not all the values are exactly correct.
Oh, he didn't comment on it.
The point stands that a lot of the CC changes, a lot of CC is getting buffed. And I honestly feel like for 90% of players, they're not even going to notice these CC changes at all. I genuinely think that.
Ben just said, for 90% of players, they will not even tell that their CC has changed, which could be true. I mean, maybe. I mean, I feel like, I don't know if healers would notice CC more, or melee, or like who feels it more. Because, I mean, as a healer, as it stands right now, from all my healer games I've played, the most obnoxious CCs in the game are Hunter Trap and Demon Hunter Stun Fear. Because there's because Hunter Trap is fucking unavoidable in solo shuffle. If any of you have played a healer in solo shuffle, or if you played DPS in solo shuffle and you wonder why you die in 10 seconds to hunters sometimes, it's because the hunter runs in and stuns your healer. They cannot do anything about it. It's completely unavoidable, and then they get trapped. So it's hunter stun to trap, and you're stuck in that for 12, 13 seconds. And that is why you're dying in the opener to hunters, because you just can't do anything as a healer. You're completely stuck in that. Rogue is not as bad because you shouldn't be getting sapped against rogues in solo shuffle, right? You just shouldn't be. Like, generally, you just tell your team, run in, leap in, get combat, and then you shrink at the blind, right? So that's that. And then Demon Hunter is annoying because they also stun you and fear you, unavoidable. Those are like unavoidable CCs most of the time. And then all the other stuff is like micro CCs, but definitely those are like the most lethal CCs, I think, out of every healer I've played in every rating range, because it's very rare that you're actually getting like spam feared or spam polymorphed or all this other shit. Like that's not really what's happening. Maybe healers will start to feel that a lot. I'm not sure.
I swear, like the values are so.
Guys, blind is so easy in solo shuffle. You just trinket blind. Is that like there is no thinking there in solo shuffle? Guys, that's a common thing. If you don't know this, and you play a healer in solo shuffle and you're fighting against a rogue, you just save trinket for blind. You should not ever trinket anything else. That's literally it. You don't even need to think about it. That's BS. Rogues get step saps all the time. Yeah, but that's I think am I crazy for saying this? I think a sap is infinitely more avoidable in a solo shuffle opener than a hunter trap. There's no way. Like, that's insane. Because you literally just say, hey guys, there's a rogue on the team, run into them. You have to tell your team that though, or you got to say something, because there is so much, and then especially at lower rating, rogues are not running into sap people a lot of the time. They're not sprinting in the second the gate's open, stepping the closest guy, and stepping in to sap someone. That's usually not what's happening. I think Hunter Trap is infinitely more disruptive. You get pet stunned, 4 seconds, can't do anything. No one on your team realizes what's happening, and you're full trapped every time. And then it is so much harder to want to trinket the first trap of a game because the Hunter can just re-trap you again in like 30 seconds. But a rogue blind that's like, you know, the same duration as a trap, I mean, it's an easy trinket in solo shuffle. Yeah, or like a warrior, like there's so many ways, you just need to not be getting sapped in a solo shuffle. If you get sapped, then it's much more hard, you know, much harder to win, but.
Oh, like low and minuscule. You could make like, yeah, I get the.
You agree with my point though, if you care about in-game strategy and decision making as a player, but you also think blind is always your trinket? Well, yeah, because there's been so many games ran that you should just always trinket blind. If you ever don't trinket blind, you're going to auto lose the blind sap. But if blind sap's out of the game, I mean, I think that maybe the blind change is going to make it way harder to want to trinket blind. Because, I mean, maybe for some comps, but it makes it a much harder decision if you can now get blinded for 5 seconds and it's no longer an auto trinket. It's probably going to be a much harder decision for 99% of players, and it might just be way worse to deal with. Because even though they've nerfed the CC, everyone trinkets blind anyways. So now if people don't trinket blind, you're kind of like, it's actually going to be worse for you, which is kind of crazy. And I don't know if that's actually healthy or not. It's kind of confusing actually, because it's been such an important part of playing against a rogue of trinketing blind. I don't know. It's hard to say when you think more about it. It is crazy. Blind and a gouge is the new blind sap. Well, no. What you would do is you would either cheap shot into blind, or kidney shot into blind, or hammer of justice into blind, or bash into blind, or intimidation stun into blind, or asphyxiate into blind, or you could stormbolt into blind, or you could axe toss into blind. You could fell eruption into blind, chaos nova into blind. You have to use blind off of a CC now to sap off of it, because blind doesn't put you in combat. If they made blind put you in combat, then you could never blind sap ever again. But blind doesn't put you in combat, and if they change that, then that would make it so you could never blind sap ever again. Sound tools? No, I'm saying like it's fine if they switch out the blind not being an auto trinket. I'm saying that it might be even harder though for people if blind is no longer an auto trinket. Like at lower ratings, because now if you don't want to trinket a 5-second blind, it's like, I don't know, you could just sit 5 more seconds of CC. So it's hard to say. But on the higher end, it might be totally different. Who knows? But yeah, because a lot of these changes were made to try to help newer people get into the game, right? And like some of these stuff they did buff. I don't know how it's gonna pan out or what it's gonna look like. Yeah, the top RMX, it's not going to matter at there, but I think on lower end, it might actually make it a harder decision now if you get blinded, which is probably the opposite of what they're going for. The easiest thing to do would make it so just blind puts you in combat to get rid of blind sap, but you know, I don't know if they'll do that. We'll see.
Polymorph on the second DR and third DR and stuff like that. It's going to feel really bad to get like the follow-up CC, but for pretty much everyone else, like almost nothing is going to change except Rogue. Yes, Rogue. Okay, but Rogue's cheap shot stun lock is going to feel better than ever. This is a fun little fact, guys. That
might be a problem. Like rogues might be even crazier because they're buffing cheap shot, and then cheap shot now just becomes you just triple cheap shot people. Blind? No, I think it's good that they're going to change the blind sap meta. I think that's a good thing. Yeah, something to keep it fresh for sure. That is a good thing. Well, yeah, some people are saying they should get rid of the third DR, which is like you can. I don't know if getting rid of third DR. Some people are saying the DR timer needs to be higher.
Sub-Rogue's cheap shot stun lock is going to be the best it's ever been, assuming Orc gets nerfed.
Yeah, that's the problem. If cheap shot's the best stun rotation, cheap shot stun rotation is super cheese, and no one likes that because it's very difficult to trinket a cheap shot because it's such an easy stun to use, and that's probably going to get nerfed, or they're going to have to do something about that because dying in triple DR cheap shots never feels good. That's like the most irritating stun to die in. Like at least if you're kidney shotted, you know if you trinket that, like that you're not nearly at risk, but there's a good chance if you trinket a cheap shot that it just feels so much worse. Like
it's been since I can remember. You're like in tournaments and stuff, you're not gonna be fighting like orc shamans. You know what I mean? There's no triple orc into sub rogue, which is something sub rogues have complained about for a long time. So that's gonna be gonzo. Am I missing something glaring or obvious, or every streamer just not do the math and jump to the hype train of CC is dead? Because this chart shows more CC being...
Yeah, I think a lot of people, too, with these comments that everyone's saying CC's dead, I don't know if, like, I mean, when you just look at like the numbers, like CC changes, but I think viewers or players just have a kind of a misunderstanding of how the game is played right now, or like how to really excel in the current meta, and that's why a lot of people are saying these things, because they're like I was saying earlier, like there's not as much CC going out like it was before. And even when I play like really CC heavy comps like Mage Rogue with Czar and shit is sub, and I'm just running in circles, like we're not even trying to set up stun sheeps already, that it'd be even more so in that direction. So I think there's like a misunderstanding there or something, or people are just playing different games too. So because we're not looking at just the numbers. We're looking at the current game right now and what the numbers would do to the game right now. That's also why I think that's like a different how we look at it. If damage were lower, yeah. No, that's how you can make it. To make the game easier to play, you have to make it so people just can't die as fast. That's like the bottom line to it. Like that's what the real problem is. Not that like CC and everything, and then inherently when people can't die very fast, CC kind of feels like not that important even then too, because it's like what's the point of CCing if I'm not going to kill you anyways? I can only win on dampening. It's a tough thing. It's a tough thing. I don't know. Yeah, they're trying to go full solo shuffle route, which I mean solo shuffle seems like it's the most popular bracket that's been released in a long time, and if that's the future of the game, like that's what's up. I think solo shuffle is fun and it's a great bracket. It's just that you can't play it. So they got to fix the queue system. I'm not sure what they haven't said anything about trying to fix the solo shuffle queue system or changing the parameters to queue solo shuffle. That's what they should say something about that, or why they haven't even mentioned all the like random little hidden things there is in the solo shuffle queue system to try to give you like the best player experience possible, when they should probably just get rid of all that shit. Like they should make it so in solo shuffle, for those that don't know, there's tons of hidden parameters that need to be met to ideally give you the best lobby. At least I'm pretty sure. This is what everyone kind of speculates. It's why you never fight people of the same specialization on the other team. Like sometimes you'll get some of the same class, or very, very rarely you'll get the same spec. They just got to make the queues better. If they could get more queues and more reps for DPS, I think that'd be a really good start. But yeah, to make healing more enjoyable, they need to make it so people just don't die as fast, which they have to make healers heal more and damage dealers do less damage. And that inherently creates a slower meta. But I don't think they wanted solo shuffle to be a super slow meta. I don't think that was the intention of it, but I think it's too fast right now for a lot of people to want to try to play healer. So yeah, it's like a hard like did I leave my queue? Oh, I'm in my queue still. Yeah, it's a hard thing to balance.
More CC being increased than decreased. That's what I've been saying, guys. Scared they haven't mentioned Orc yet. Me too. Like I said, I think all of these changes hinge on Orc getting nerfed. If Orc gets no changes,
and then everyone hates the twos bracket right now as well. I wonder if they'll do something to change the twos bracket, because I guess it's just unplayable for a lot of people. Guys, that was Ben's video. Yeah, I was saying the opposite thing on the first day, because I was like, I thought it was crazy what was going on, but then I had one day to sit there and be angry about it, and then I was like, you know what, this is like WoW PvP. It needs a shakeup. It needs to get people involved, get more people playing. And if this is what people want to do for majority of people and they're into it, then I'm into it too, man. Yeah, there's no point to try to be on like the opposition of like big changes of what's going on, because especially if it's like making the game less accessible, less people are playing it, and the game is slowly like dying out of player base. So it's like, okay, yeah, let's make some drastic changes, because yeah, that's what's got to be. I got to be on board instead of, just being a part of the problem.